Hi everyone, welcome to our session. So today's session is on the wise maidens, and today we'll be talking about the second wise maiden, whose name is I don't know the name of the maiden, but she refers to wisdom. So before we get started, let's do a short invocation. Let's close our eyes, connect the tongue to the palate, inhale and exhale gently. Let us invoke to the Supreme God, Divine Father, Divine Mother. We thank you for your priceless blessings, for divine light, divine love, divine guidance, divine love, mercy, inner healing, physical healing. Thank you for the inner strength to practice regularly. Thank you for your divine help and protection, for illumination, abundance, and prosperity. We thank you. Okay, so the teachings from this particular session are coming from the book Christianity Revealed by Master Choa Kok Sui. So this is the book, and if the workshop ever comes to your city, I would highly recommend that you figure out a way to take it. It's a beautiful workshop. Okay, so before we do the archangel meditation, we'll just discuss this a little bit. So what Master Choa Kok Sui says here is that the ordinary interpretation of wisdom means the ability to listen to people who are more mature, more experienced than you, the ability to listen to the right people, and the ability to select the right people to listen to. So I think we've talked about this before, but this is something that in my personal experience, have found to be very valuable, which basically is that when we take advice for certain topics, we just tend to take advice from whoever is closest to us, right? Or whoever we think we love. But we forget that it may not be their area of expertise. So, for example, if so there was this person who was coming for relationship healing, and she was constantly taking advice from her mother for solving her relationship problems with her husband. But the problem is that the mother didn't have a very good relationship with her father. So one of the things that I suggested to her is that perhaps you should look for a friend or somebody else in your network, somebody else in your friends and family who has a good relationship, and take their advice to help solve your relationship problem, right? So the idea is that we need to be careful, and we need to take advice from people who are capable of solving that problem. So for example, let's say we have a legal problem, right? If we have a legal problem, are we going to go to the car mechanic just because he's a good car mechanic? No, right? We're going to go to a good lawyer. So the ability to identify people whose advice works for us is something that we should constantly do. And I've noticed that now, the younger generation are very, very clear about what they're going to take advice from their parents, what they're going to ask their friends, what they're going to ask their teachers, and which teacher they're going to ask what, right? So just in case, our family members don't take our advice on certain topics, perhaps we shouldn't be offended. We should be aware that if they are asking a specialist, that is probably better for them. Yeah. So what I'd like us to also do is, we have four aspects in life that we always talk about. One is health, then there's wealth, which is finances, then there's relationships, and there's spirituality, right? So in all these four areas, we must have advisors who are capable of advising us in these areas, right? Not just choose one person just because they love us the most, or perhaps because what they say, we kind of like it, right? So that happens to us. So he says that, again, I'm reading from the book, where he says that is why intelligent people, before they accept the testimonial of an expert, validate his qualifications first. In ordinary life, people don't do that. People do not validate the qualifications of the people with whom they're seeking advice from. As a result, the people giving them advice are not qualified, and the advice given to them is disastrous. In that sense, they are foolish. They do not listen to the right people. Okay. So one of the other things that I would like to suggest is when we are looking for advisors or we are taking advice from somebody, it's always a good idea to do like a small test. A small test is like, you don't give them the whole problem right now, but you just start evaluating whether they can help. So you can ask, like, ask them to do something small, like a small legal advice if you're going to a lawyer, Or if it's relationship advice, then you can talk to a friend who has a good relationship with her spouse or his spouse, as the case may be. If whatever area of life it is, and I can tell you that this itself is also wisdom. So if we think that we are going to know everything about everything, then that's really not going to happen, right? If you have done Aratic yoga and you've seen the Aratic retreats by Master Choa, now, of course, we play the videos. And when we play the videos, there are times when he says that, if you ask me about pranic healing, I can tell you. But you ask me about something else, well, I have to say that I am not an expert on, let's say, for me personally, I'm not an expert on car mechanic, right? Nothing I can do about it. So don't ask me about cars, even though you may love me, right? So, he says here, people who are able to select the right people to listen to and get the right advice and make use of that advice are the ones who are called wise. Another meaning of this, he says, relates to rearing children. Some of us who have children, and we sometimes think, if only they would listen to my advice, they would not suffer, right? But how many of us have people in our lives who we try to advise, but they don't really listen and they do suffer? So that is also lack of wisdom, right? Because if they were to just follow or at least listen to the advice that we have to offer, then perhaps they would not suffer so much. But then what can you do? Okay, so Master says here, what do you call these people? Sometimes after 5, 10 years, they're still not listening and they still haven't learned. What do you call these people? So I'm answering, and I think the answer is that we call them foolish. So in this context, there's something else that I would like to share, which is that sometimes we expect results when we are doing the same thing. So there was this family dispute that we were working with, and the family had tried to talk to both the parties in the family and try to resolve the dispute. Now, one suggestion came up from another random family member, and they said, "What if we just stop talking to them? And not to them, but the person who has, not done the right thing, according to the family. What if we just stop talking to them?" And so it was unconventional advice. It was a different tactic. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that we sometimes expect the same result to come, we expect different results to come, although we are doing the same thing over and over again, right? So if it's dealing with our children or with our spouse or with our business, if we are doing the same thing, how are we going to get a different result? So one of the other things is to share ideas with other people, and of course, sometimes it's just try something else, just try something different, okay? And of course, to try something different, we need courage, right? So some of that courage we can get from ourselves, and of course we can request the angels for courage. And another thing he says, this is again from Master Choa's teachings, is that he says yet another meaning of wisdom is the ability to listen to the guidance of your higher soul, the ability to listen to the guidance of your inner teacher. That is also wisdom. Wisdom may be the ability to use your intuition. And over here he says intuitive intelligence. Intuitive intelligence manifests as direct inner perception without having to study. You're just simply noticing this. Okay, so this is what I wanted to say about wisdom, and this is in the context of the story in the Bible about the bridegroom and the 5 wise maidens and the 5 foolish maidens. Now, again, we want to be aware that these maidens refer to chakras. And again, if you do the basic pranic healing workshop or any pranic healing workshop, you learn a lot more about chakras. So, of course, tomorrow we have our advanced pranic healing workshop starting in Calcutta, where we will also discuss the more deeper functions of chakras. So again, wisdom is related to a certain chakra, which we will discuss in the workshop. And in daily life, try to observe who are the people whose advice really works for you, whose advice doesn't work for you. Doesn't mean you write them off. It just means you give them another chance. And typically, I would say, try to discuss 3 things with them, like over time, and try to see if the advice works for you or doesn't work for you. And if the third time also it doesn't work for you, then perhaps it's time to just look for a different advisor for that particular area of your life. Also, I would request you, um, don't don't use the same advisor for everything. Things have people have expertise in certain areas, and people have certain personalities also. So try to look for advisors who will give you advice for different areas of life. Yeah. Just like when we need accounting help, we go to an accountant. When we need legal help, we go to a lawyer. But when it comes to relationships, or when it comes to, what we call everyday things, somehow we just end up going to our best friend, or someone who we think is our best friend, which may or may not be the best way to solve a problem. That's all that I'm trying to. I'm not saying your best friend. See, the thing is, our best friend or the person who we refer to or our parents really love us, but they may or may not have the right advice. Okay, so for something related to pranic healing, of course, you can approach a pranic healer. You can approach us, anyone on our team. And of course, there are so many pranic healers all over the world. So you can refer to any of them for anything related to pranic healing. Okay, so with that, let's close our eyes. Let's remember our advisors. Let's be grateful for all the good advice that may have received over the years from some people. And in that process, if we find that there may be some advisors that we need to probably look at other options, then let's just open our mind to that. And let's seek guidance from Archangel Uriel for that. So let's be aware of our crown, the top of the head. Let's be aware of our heart. Let's raise our hands in blessing position. Let's bless ourselves. Before that, let's bless planet Earth. Let's also invoke to the Buddha Kuan Yin for her divine, compassionate, purifying light and her soothing, healing energy to descend upon Mother Earth to transmute, externalize, to extract, externalize, and raise to high vibrations all fears, doubts, worries, anxieties that the planet Earth is facing right now, and all the beings. May all of us be blessed with divine light, divine love, and divine power. Let's bless Mother Earth with good earth, good air, good sunlight. Let's bless Mother Earth with healing and recovery, with freedom from the COVID-19 virus. May all of us learn the lesson that we need to learn from this virus as a group, as humanity, as a family, as an individual. Let's also bless our targets, our financial targets, relationship targets, health targets, and spiritual targets. Let's also visualize all our family members. Let's send a lot of loving energy coming through us, going to them. Just feel the love and project love to all family members. Fill them with love, light, and power. May there be one pranic healer per family. May at least one person from every family be inspired to learn pranic healing. I'll be starting teaching of the online self-healing workshop soon. So let's bless that. It's open to everyone who is resident in India. So let's bless everyone. Maybe have at least one pranic healer per family. Let's bless our work-related clients, colleagues, friends, helpers. Let's also bless our spiritual buddies, people who help us, tell us where we are wrong, perhaps, and also appreciate us when we do something right. Okay. Let's bless our projects, our written wishes from now and from before. Let's bless everyone's wishes. May they all materialize rapidly and properly as per entitlement. Let's bless ourselves with the ability to tithe regularly. Let's have the wisdom to tithe 10% of our net income. This is to help us become more prosperous by sowing the seeds of prosperity and using the law of karma. Okay, once you're done, let's massage our face, scalp, the neck, shoulders, chest, liver, spleen, the kidneys at the back, the hips, the thighs, the knees, and the shin bone. So again, thank you everyone for joining us for our session. And like we said, we are launching self Pranic Healing online. It's going to be a 1 day workshop or 2 half days or 4 days, 2 hours. So there are going to be multiple formats. So in case you have a preference, do send us a message on the WhatsApp number provided below, on the YouTube channel, or on the chat box. So that'll give us an idea as to what kind of an audience we have and what time you would like the classes to be held. So we can figure out a format that works for you, because we would really like that you should learn Pranic Healing. Okay, so we'll see you soon, and that's it. Thank you so much.